I think there are very simple rules of engagement for me, right? If we want people to be more spontaneous with each other, less guarded, and I think that's what we all want, more spontaneity, not so rule bound in the way we interact with each other. We must be prepared to forgive, if not forget, forgive, right? We must be prepared to also ask for forgiveness. You need people to be comfortable saying sorry and forgiving. It doesn't work if it's only saying sorry, but you're not forgiven. You need both to work. So I think we need to become a more gracious society. We need to be more gracious when someone says, I'm sorry, to take it at face value and say the person is saying sorry, accept it, move on. Unless, of course, the guy has just raped you and then he says, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not suggesting that you move on after that. You know exactly what I mean, right? I'm talking about conversations where you slip up. Doesn't that happen to any one of us? I don't think there's a single person we've met who has not had some misunderstandings where we cross the line. It happens all the time. Isn't that how relationships are built? Where you test each other's boundaries, you slowly learn to trust. Does it just happen like that? See, intent is very important, right? Now, if I didn't intend to offend you and I took certain liberties because I thought that we knew each other and I thought my joke about your religion, is funny. I didn't mean to offend you. I thought it was funny, right? Maybe somebody told me that joke and I laughed and I thought it was funny and I thought I'll share it with you because you're my friend. Suddenly I see your face. Your face has changed. Or if we are even closer, you'd actually tell me, I don't think that was funny. Now, straight away, what should I do? I should back off, right? I shouldn't try and argue with you and say no, because I did offend you. And you have a right to be offended, for whatever reasons. I should then say, I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you. I should explain to you first, I did not mean to offend you. I thought it was funny, it was my mistake. And I apologize to you. What should you do? You should not say, this is a problem with you guys. You go ahead and you say these things and then you expect me to just forgive. You talk about my God and then you go on a tirade. Look, the guy made a genuine mistake and he said, I'm sorry. You should have the graciousness to accept it at face value on the basis of trust and say, okay, as long as we understand each other, let's move on. What are the chances of me making the same mistake again? Much less, because you've taught me to be a little bit more careful. Correct? Now, that's how the pieces in a jigsaw actually come together. You'll have to find the pieces that fit, and that's what it is. But there are no shortcuts. There must be and there will be mistakes. If we run away from making mistakes, we will never have a cohesive society. If we are hung up too much about harmony, you know that you can have harmony without cohesiveness. Jerusalem is a classic example of a city with harmony. How do they have the harmony? You have the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews living in harmony, not interacting with each other, in enclaves. So you see what I mean? You can have harmony, but harmony doesn't necessarily give you cohesiveness. If you ask me, if you want cohesiveness, real cohesiveness, you must have the tolerance for mistakes. You must allow people to say the wrong thing and learn from it. But for that to happen, you must have a gracious society where people are willing to give you the benefit of doubt first and not charge you as guilty a priori. I think we have lost that, and we are at risk of losing that permanently if we do not take stock and ask ourselves, how far are we going with this Me Too movement? How far are we going with this cancel culture? How far are we going with this lynching culture? How far are we going with this politically correct culture? There's a price to pay. And I think we all need to take stock and ask ourselves, is this the direction we want to go? Because I can tell you, beyond a point, you can't make a U-turn. The distrust would be so deep that even the government cannot do anything about it. And it's not the government's job to do these things. I go back to parenting. I go back to face-to-face opportunities for face-to-face interactions. And this is very serious. So intent and context are as important, if not sometimes more important, than actually the act of causing hurt.